if you're like me, you miss the Premier League right now. Don't get me wrong, last season was an awful, awful season to be a West Ham fan, apart from obviously the culmination of us being European champions. But if you're anything like me, you love football, you love the Premier League, and international football just isn't cutting it. I know I'm wearing my England shirt, I know it's sort of international breaks with like the nothing games, but it just doesn't quite cut the same. But what it does present us with is the transfer window. And I think that's got to be the most exciting time for any football fan, for any football club. The idea of new players coming in, who we're going to be looking at, and as stressful as it can be as West Ham fans, we do love it. We secretly love it. It's one of our guilty pleasures. And one aspect of the transfer market we're definitely looking at is the Championship. We know David Moyes, it's been reported that he wants to look towards the Championship to sign players. I think last year he sort of tried to branch out. He went more international, signing the likes of Paqueta from the French league, Kehrer from the French league, Scamacca from the Italian league. Also Aguerd from the French league. We know he loves the French market, but I think this year, with uncertain change, with things like that coming in, he wants to eye the Championship. And we're going on a little bit of a Championship raid. Now, what also helps us is the quality of the three teams that have literally just been relegated. You've got Southampton, who have the likes of Carl Walker-Peters, Lavia, who is linked to a move to Arsenal if they can't sign Caicedo. Also, Chelsea might be interested in signing him. He's someone I would love for us to look at. Not too many. Bazunu's an okay keeper for me, but not someone I'm too fussed about signing. Bella Kotchap as well is a potential sign-in. You've got Leicester City, who are riots with talent. You've got Harvey Barnes, who of course we have reported that we may be going in for fairly soon. I hope that's something we can get through the door fairly soon. Iheanacho as well. He's someone we may look to sign. I think he could be a really good signing for us. There's definitely some uncertainty with him because obviously he did quite well at City. He had that sort of period with Leicester where he was struggling to get in the team, obviously against the likes of Jamie Vardy, but with the right kind of training, I actually think he could be quite a decent striker. James Maddison is a top talent, and I would love to have him at West Ham. He's not going to West Ham. He'll be going to Spurs or Newcastle, taking that higher leap up, which I think is fair enough. You've also got Castagna, who I think, I believe it was Arsenal who are rumoured. We might potentially stick our toe in the water and see that sort of move go through. Also, someone I'm a big fan of, James Justin. For a left back spot, I think he's really, really solid. He's really good going forward. Obviously, the left flank is kind of our more attacking dead ball flank. So I'd really like to see maybe us go in for him. And then, of course, you've got Leeds United, who have the likes of Gnotto, Meslier potentially as well, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie. So we already know that the teams who have just gone down in the Championship are going to be selling their players for fairly cheap. But there's also a big variety of Championship talents that are already in there. I know a lot of West Ham fans, and I've got to say, he's not someone I'm too clued up with. He's not someone I'm too familiar with. But Alex Scott of Bristol City plays in the under-21s for England, 19 years of age. He won like Young Player of the Championship, I believe. He seems to be a really, really good midfield option to potentially come in as an understudy to Declan Rice, obviously, when he potentially leaves. He's someone that everyone seems to be very, very familiar with, seems to be really, really excited about. So I feel like maybe a potential move for him could be quite interesting. Also, it's looking like we might be stepping up our interest in Victor Gyökeres, I believe his name is Gyökeres or something like that. You'll have to forgive me on names for some players, but I know he was on loan from Brighton a few years ago. Then he made the move to Coventry, and he has been lighting the Championship up in that for Coventry. And he is somebody that I think we will make a move on at some point. I know there's interest from Sporting Lisbon, but it looks like the prospect of European football is a big pull for him, and as to why we might get him for a price between 20 and 25 million. Especially if we lose someone like Scamacca, it looks like we might move for him. And also one of his teammates, Hamer. I think he's quality. He's definitely getting a little bit older now, so I'm not sure if we go in for him, but he's someone that I wouldn't mind seeing the step up to the Premier League. And of course, someone who we've been linked with millions and millions of times, Berrenton Diaz. He must be fed up of being at Blackburn Rovers by now. he was one of their key players. I don't think David Moyes is going to go in for him just because of the amount of times we've looked at him, the amount of times we haven't actually signed him. So I don't actually think we're going to go in for him, but he is another potential option that we could be looking at. So on the whole, if I had like a championship wish list right now, because I'll go into it in another video. I think we need about 6 signings. Probably if Scamacca leaves, which I feel like he probably will, we need a new striker. We also need probably around 2 to 3 midfielders, 2 to fill Rice's spot and 1 to potentially come in if we get rid of like Souček. Or I suppose if Fornals comes in, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it'd be good to get some new some new midfielders coming in. I also think we need new fullbacks and potentially an understudy for Fabianski because it might be his last season. So I think we need about 6 players. Now, I would love Kyle Walker-Peters of Southampton. He is on my wish list as a fullback. It's probably between him and Wan-Bissaka, but I don't think we'll get Wan-Bissaka. He's young, he's exciting, he's good going forward, and I don't think he'd be too expensive from Southampton. I think they wouldn't be too not keen to sell him. Lavia as well would be on my list. However, I just think Arsenal are probably going to pip us to it. Another team would pip us to it. I also don't think that we are interested enough for that to happen. So he would be on my wish list, but I don't think it's going to happen. Third, Harvey Barnes. He is a no-brainer, an exciting winger. Basically, the opposite flank to Jarrod Bowen, but the same player as Jarrod Bowen. An exciting inverted forward who we know can score goals, quick, young. And I feel like the price for him is good enough to where we should be sorting this out already. This is one of the signings that we absolutely have to make. Bearing in mind, for me, Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds are, teetering along Premier League quality. They're not like Bournemouth, for instance. When they went down, when they were sort of thought to go down, they're not like a Bournemouth that just is going to go straight up and down. They've got so many good talents in there. Harvey Barnes for me is a must that we have to sign this summer. I'd be really gutted if we lose out to him for someone like Spurs because we just didn't move quick enough or we didn't put enough money in for him. So that'd be my third one. Gyökeres, I know Chuba Akpom as well of Middlesbrough is someone we've been potentially keeping eyes on. For me, I don't know if I want to sign a championship striker. We've done it before with players like Jordan Hugill. We've done it before and it might not work. I'd much rather us go in for maybe a more out-and-out striker. The amount of strikers we've had over the years, do I want to take a risk on him? I think he looks like a really good player, and I think he could be a good player for us. But I don't know if I want to take that risk for the striker spot, especially because next season we might be going into the season without Antonio, without Scamacca, and just Danny Ings, and I don't trust Danny Ings enough. So for me, he's not necessarily in there. James Justin, number 4. I would absolutely love to sign him. I think he's a really, really good, exciting winger, young. And again, because of this is the brilliant thing about the Championship is the players, the idea of going up to the Premier League means that these clubs in the Championship are more inclined to allow their players to move on because the players are going to be pushing for a move forward. And also, they just can't really afford to keep them. The wages we could offer him. And then number 5 for me, Alex Scott. I've been told by enough people that this guy is the next best midfielder. I had a little look into him and the sort of things he's achieved. I think he's exciting. Do I want him ahead of maybe like Flynn Downs? Supposedly he's like, going to instantly take over Flynn Downs and he should be into the first team. So for me, I think he'd be a really exciting midfielder to sign. So those are the kind of the 5 players I'd love to sign for the Championship. Gnotto is someone I've also thought about, but if we can get someone like Harvey Barnes, also Harrison as well, not even mentioned Harrison, he's a really good, really exciting player. He's someone that I would definitely be interested in getting if we can't sign Harvey Barnes. But for me, out of the 3, Harvey Barnes is the best player there. So I would really like us to get that one over the line. That's my number 1 signing, I think, this summer. It's a no-brainer. We just have to get it done. For the price of 20 to 25 million, I think it's a no-brainer. Also, Tyler Adams for me, I would be inclined, but I think the fact that we're probably going to sign Paulinho and someone more experienced in that role means we probably won't go for him. But the main part of this video is that last season it looked like we were going for the French league for international players. I don't think we really signed too many experienced Premier League players. David Moyes seems to learn his lesson this year, and he doesn't want a bedding period. He doesn't want a period where players are going to have to settle into sides and settle into languages and teams or whatever. He seems to be focusing pretty much on the Premier League and the Championship as to where he wants to acquire his talents from. So that is a very interesting switch of play. Will it pay off? I'm hoping so. Who do you think we should be signing from the Championship? And I'll see you on the next one.